Hey, Kris.
Hello.
Just wondering if we can start with a Calvin Pickard update, and how's he feeling, and could he go tomorrow?
Calvin is day-to-day. He will not play tomorrow.
Just the game last night, you look at the film, and do you kind of flush that, or do you say, okay, we got to learn from this, guys, and because it happened in LA as well in game one, similar instance. How do you kind of approach that the next morning and moving on to tomorrow?
Well, we watch the film and use what is applicable and what's going to be happening again. And, we don't break down every mistake, and because a lot of things are one-offs and they're not really applicable for going forward. So whether you have a really strong game, really poor game, there's things to take out from it. And ultimately, you're just trying to get better every day. And we just got to be ready for game 4.
So you were better in game 1 than you were in 2 and 3. Is that anything to worry about, or is that just the flow of the way playoff series go sometimes?
Well, I think we absolutely played really well in game 1, but I think it'd be fair to say that they didn't bring their best in game 1. And we knew that they were going to get better. And, I think game 3, looking at the scoring chances for and against and what was given up and what we had, I think that game could have went either way, and it got to the point where it almost went either way. And but collectively, we know we need to be better for the next game and game 5, because we know that we have a lot of respect for Vegas. They're a good team, well coached, a lot of veteran players, and they play a good, solid game. So it's not ever going to be easy.
I'm not going to ask what you're going to do with Leon and Connor, but when you're making this decision about do you keep this line intact or do you split them up, can you give us a bit of a sense for the things that you pay attention to and you look into, what the signs are for you?
Well, one, obviously, how well they're playing together and how they're producing, but also what are the other lines? What are they contributing? And then you have to look at line matchups. Obviously, we're at home, so is there a defensive line or a line that we want to match against their top line? And if that's a strategy that we want to do, do we have the personnel to do it? And then you look at ice time, and if you do have a shutdown line playing against another team's top line, well, they're going to be playing a lot, and that's going to be taking away other guys' ice time. So there's a lot of factors, but I think it's the biggest thing is who's playing well and who's playing well together, and we'll make that decision. And we've played almost every single game with Leon and Connor separated for part of the games and playing together. The last few games, they've been playing more together than they have been separated. So, we'll make that decision tomorrow.
Results aside, you often have metrics that you point to internally that are an indicator of which way things are trending and going. What would you say the numbers that you have are telling you about the way the last couple of games have gone and how you feel about the direction it's pointed in?
I think in the second game, we 5-on-5 and the power play, they had more chances than we did. In game 3, it was very similar. I think in game 2, we got outplayed, and we're fortunate to win that. Game 3 was very close. One thing I did like, that I was surprised that we won game 1 and 2, despite losing the special teams battle, which is very difficult to do in the playoffs at this point in time. And last night we actually won that one and still didn't manage to get the game. So we got to find ways to clean up our game a little bit, but also, creating a little more scoring chances. In the first game, there was a lot off the rush. Our execution was great coming out of our zone. It led to a lot of offense. And, I think with our team, a lot of our successes generated from that.
Kris, could you assess Stuart's performance last night, including the last play of the game.
Yeah, I just think you always want players playing with desperation and putting it all out on the line, and I think that's what everyone really did. Forwards, defense, and our goaltender there. Unfortunately, there was a little more time on the clock than everyone thought, and everyone was anticipating that shot coming from the slot at that point in time because of how much time there was left, and there was unfortunately that's not what turned out. So I think Stewart's made some really big saves, especially. In the third period, made a really good one, made some other ones early in the game on the penalty kill. So I think we need just, like game 1 and 2, when he played early in the LA series, we just need to be better in front of him.
On the same vein, you guys are 6-0 with Calvin, 0-3 with Stewart. Are you seeing anything in front of those two that you guys are doing differently, or is it just the way the puck is bouncing right now?
Well, I think defensively, like I look at the game 2 in Vegas was probably, the one game in, trying to think, game 5 against LA, game 2 against Vegas. Defensively, those are probably our 2 weakest games defensively, giving up chances. So, and one with Calvin was in net, one with Stewart was in net. So I don't think we're doing anything differently. Everyone's got the same assignments, same mentality, wanting to win and doing the right things. We don't get more passive. We don't get more aggressive. We're playing the same style. So it's just sometimes just luck runs its way. So.
It seemed like the Kings series really turned in games 3 and 4 with those comeback wins, those miraculous comeback wins for you guys. Given what happened last night, how do you ensure that the inverse doesn't happen for you guys in this series?
I just have to have a short-term memory. I don't know. I was with this team last year, and so that's my only experience of the NHL playoffs is last year and this year. And you just need to, whatever happened the night before, whether it was a win, a loss, you just have to put that aside and get ready for the next game because you're playing the same opponent night after night, and their game's going to be a little bit different. Your game's going to be a little bit different, just the way things play out. So no matter what happens, it's business the next night.